Thanks for staying with us. It's still iBrandTV, and it's time to delve into something different. A bit of entertainment. You know, the weekend is almost here, and today is Thursday, so let's lighten the mood up a bit. And we have in the house MC 90, who is here to discuss comedy basically with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, MC 90.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's good to have you.
Thank you so much.
And then there's a trademark that depicts the 90s. I think it's even the 80s.
No, the 70s,
oh,
you know,
70s, 60s, 70s.
Anyways, you know, that 90s is the bridge between the millennium and the oldies. So that's why we have it as 90s.
So that's where the name came from?
That's part of it, because we have a lot of explanation for the 90s.
Okay.
You know, this earth geographically is 360. If you divide it by 4, you have 90s.
90, yeah.
That is the 4 angles of this earth. And you don't just have 90. You have it as like 4, either in your room or anywhere. So you put S at the back, which makes it 90s.
Oh, you just succeeded in confusing me. Thank you for doing that.
Quite interesting. But let's start from the basic now. How did you get into comedy? Because that those who tell you, I've been doing that from my mother's womb, you know, how did it start for you?
Actually, you know, in Nigeria, it's not about what you study. It's about what studied you. Yes, because I'm a marine engineer by profession.
Wow.
So, I dive into comedy 2002, 2003, after my marine course then. You know, as a graduate, back then in school, I've been doing comedy, I've been entertaining my people, but I just professionally, I started in 2002, 2003 to at least, this is what I now do for feeding, and I serve God for living. So, and you know, it's a very, very long story.
Okay.
You know, like this is my trademark now, which is my afro of the 90s. I started it back then. I don't even have money to barb my hair. But now he's putting food on my table.
Wow.
You know, now the hair is even hitting more than me, myself. So I need to treat it well too. And, you know, comedy for me is a very, very good business.
How did it start? Sorry, just a bit. You said it started in school. Was it, you know, in the midst of your friends as a group, or, you know, you had departmental faculty shows and you were just the solo artist trying to, you know? You know,
I've been, back then I do go from school to school. If they're having any of their events, social events, I'll attend, then crack them up. Even in my school back then, I started with just 1990s. I'll be asking, in the 1990, where you did?
Okay.
But I now look at it, I can't name myself MC 90, so I have to make it 90s.
Okay.
And so, go on, please. What is this?
And you know, back then in school, I noticed that all those freshers, when they're having their events, the one that most of them will call on. This guy, I think this guy is very funny. Let him come and entertain us and all of that. And some of my media friends back then, they would just ask me, okay, come for our show, even without being paid. But I remember that the one that encouraged me most is the first time I got, I think, 15,000 for just a 5-minute comedy. And I was like, so they pay for this. And, you know, that's not it all, because I get encouraged day by day. The first time I was paid $1 million for this same comedy, I was asking myself, I can't go home directly. I was asking myself, are you sure these people, they don't have one plan for me? And that's how, you know, day by day it's getting better.
Oh, you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned you studied marine engineering. And at one point, did you decide to leave marine engineering to solely depend on comedy? And you also mentioned you serve God for a living. So I want to ask, was it divinely orchestrated by God? Because a lot of persons have come to say God had to tell them that this is what they should do. Of course, I'm a believer of such things. It happens. And was it what happened with you, or you just knew that you have to follow passion more than what you studied in school?
That's like two questions which I would like to answer simultaneously too. Now what I said, that I make people laugh for feeding and I serve God for living. Oftentimes I don't want to take that out of my story, because I notice that I do say to people, because I claim to be the son of the king of rhymes and the captain of comedy. And that rhyme that I mentioned there, the first person that did rhyme on this earth is God. In the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That was a very fantastic, perfect rhyme by God. And he said the word became flesh, in which me I represent, and I no be me rent, so I can't be torment.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, I can't be tormented.
Yes.
And you all know the period of Lent is not just an event, but it is meant to unbend your dent, because it's a sent. It's not to buy his kingdom with his sent, but to repent by the word that was sent before he went, so you can be under his tent and be prevent. Now you can see that my papa na God, but some people they call him hala. I no get wahala. Now to buy my under hala, that is for my dog, so that my enemy go fear enter wahala. When I no be mala, you see now apart from just comedy, I do rhymes.
Okay.
So and this rhyme, that's why I said I'm the son of. I'm not the king of rhyme. I'm the son of the king of rhyme, because I call God the king of rhyme. Rhymes. And you know, this word, I make people laugh for feeding. I serve God for living. That's where the word comes from.
Okay.
Because now, basically, I target as your mentor is always your method. And God being my mentor, that's why my method is different.
In other words, one can easily say that you are a gospel comedian. I know I won't want to term it that way, or you may not want to term it that way, rather, because there are those who tell you, oh, they strictly perform at gospel shows. You know, the term some secular and all of that. But with your affiliation with God's words and trying to rhyme, you know, with God and all of that, it's safe to say you're a gospel comedian.
I wouldn't call myself a gospel comedian. I would just call myself a good tiding comedian.
Okay.
You know why I call it a good tiding? Because if you are not doing gospel and worldly, we have only two, just gospel and worldly comedian. Then if you are not doing good news, gospel means good news. If you are not doing good news, it means you are going bad news. So all I do in my own comedy field is to crack jokes that edifies, crack jokes that are not with foul language. Crack joke, like now sometimes like now you know, we just we had what's it called, Teachers Day yesterday.
Yes.
And to some platform I went for interviews. I tell them, I said, I remember back then one of the teachers that I would like to celebrate. I mentioned some of them, and I said there are some teachers I would never forget or forgive in my life. That's the mathematics teacher, the English teacher, and of course the Greek.
Okay.
Maths, English, and the Greek. And why? The mathematics teacher, I'm not yet done with maths. You are introducing me to further maths. Let me be through with one before I further. Now the another one is the English teacher. I said, why will you tell me the opposite of man, now woman, the opposite of up, now down, the opposite of auntie, now uncle? Then what is the opposite of anti-malaria? So some that will be confident, okay, anti-malaria, I want to be, you know, you understand. And another one is the Greek teacher. If you tell me the botanical name, you know, back then in school, botanical name of rice is Orisa sativa, botanical name of pawpaw is Carica papaya. Oh, you know papaya. You know the papaya that is working now is the one online. You understand? Now Carica papaya, magnifera indica, that's mango, tribomia cacao, cocoa. And when they taught me that thing in school, I was just watching that. What I want to use this thing for? I enter labor market. I went to the Igbo guy selling rice beside my house. I say, guy, do you have Orisa sativa? The guy went for over 4 hours. He went looking for Orisa sativa. Orisa sativa. He called his boss, we get Orisa sativa. He said, which one be Orisa sativa? After like 6 hours, I tell the guy, oh, no, no get rice. He said, but so now rice, now you may disturb me for over 6 hours. So, you know, and I asked myself, what will I now use this thing to do in my life? But ladies and gentlemen, all I'm saying is that all those things they taught us in school, there are some of it that are very, very good. But I'm still looking for that my Greek teacher that I said, let me ask you, why did you teach me Orisa sativa?
The question I even asked about the point you knew you were going to leave marine engineering.
Yes, that's the second one I'm about to answer. Because this one, why I mentioned this one is that I don't really need to say some, you know, nasty things to make people laugh.
Before you go, let's just give the viewers something to look forward to. We'll go on a very short break and we'll show you some comedy stuff from MC 90'S. Please stay with us. Glad to have you back on the show. We're still sticking with MC 90'S. And before we went on the break, you're just about to answer a very crucial question that I asked you. I was trying to ask you, at what point did you know or did you decide to leave marine engineering and focus more on comedy?
If I have to explain it in details, I believe I didn't there wasn't any point. I just thought, okay, I should leave marine engineering because that marine thing is in me. I love marine. I love to deal with engines.
In the water,
but I mean, I remember back then when I finished school and the job is not forthcoming. I just thought of it that since I have this talent of comedy, I started as a comedian, but I later dive into music too. I did one popular Unofficial. That's the title of the song. A very funny old school music then. Then I just thought of it that I'm funny. As in, even my papa knows I'm funny. My papa, if he asks me a question, I go change and he go say, this boy, I don't understand. I didn't born you like this. There are some people that say, I'm a born comedian. Even if I'm not born comedian, I'm gifted. And the gift of God, it will make it to sit before king and queen. So that's why I'm not trying to, I don't want to hide it. But I've been in the game for a very long time, but due to also for Nigeria, that's why I mentioned it the other time that it's not about what you studied, it's about what studied you. Because in Nigeria, you need to learn what is that thing that is trying to give his attention to you that you should try. Do me.
All right, now that brings me to my next question. Sorry, I'm saying a lot of persons, people tag themselves as gospel comedians, gospel musicians, and all of that. And then sometimes there could be some restrictions. Although you didn't tag yourself as a gospel musician, comedian, but there is a Christian. Of course, you're a Christian, and it's evident what you said. And glad tidings, you crack jokes that edify, which is a biblical word and should be the character of Christians. So, does it have restrictions? Do you have restrictions? Because sometimes we know what in this world a lot of persons would rather prefer the other way with foul languages. So have you had challenges or restrictions in your career because of the path you chose not to use foul languages to crack jokes or to crack jokes that edify?
Of course. Okay. There are restrictions because there are sometimes that you have some deals that you see it as, oh, this thing is huge, but I can't do it. I can't do this. This is what I can't do it. I mean is that many people don't care. That is some of our colleagues, they don't care. They just, okay, since this thing is what I do, you have to even sometimes want to bend yourself to do what you promise not to do. But it has to do with you and your God. Because if you really respect God, I ask people, even our musician, now we have some that tag themselves gospel musician, and at the end of the day, what they will be singing is even worse than even people in the world. Because some of them, they will say they are gospel musician, musician, and your song, you try to copy the beat of people in the world. So what makes you a gospel musician? Because you see some of them, they'll be, okay, when the slang is trending in the world, they'll pick the slang and want to bring it to the church. Some of the instrumentalists that play in the club, when they come to church on Sunday, you can tell. By the time you hear and members say, hey, not all the members that say, hey, no, they know what they are connecting to. So for me now, as I don't claim to be a gospel comedian, but I just decide that I'll have to walk in line with God's word. Okay. I don't want to derail.
Okay. That's
I want to do whatever I'm doing on this earth for God. And when I mean for God, I mean even devil wants a sincere person. Hope you're aware. Yeah. The devil wants a sincere person, because if you see criminal now, they go rob. As they go rob, what they do, you'll see when one of them is trying to dupe another, they say, you be thief. Who will be if no be thief?
Okay, that's a fine decision you've taken there. But let's look at the comedy industry now as a whole. In recent times, it looks like skits, taking over, stand-up comedy. Although we still have, stand-up comedy shows, but probably not as rampant as 5-6 years ago, especially before the pandemic. The pandemic came on board. Are you into skit making as well? And which do you prefer if you are into skit making?
Presently, I've not been doing skits that much because, but maybe probably after this my show, I have to dive into it, because that's the way forward now. You can't be doing only stand-up comedy, and everyone is online now, so you have to connect to the trend. Trend that I mean is, okay, this is, you can even make money. You make money now on YouTube, you make money on Facebook, you make money on all those social media that just believing, okay, you can put up a show together or just sit back and say, I'm a stand-up comedian. We have the likes of people that started with me then, that some of them are still looking forward to. This one is not doing any show again, because the skit makers now, they are making a lot of money and they are trying. I've been last year I did a skit with Woli Agba and some other skit makers too. But I just believe that okay, these guys are making money. You too, you can jump on what they are doing as well. So I have a plan to do that after my
jumping on what they are doing. As good as much as it's good to follow trend, do you think that it's also important to carve a niche for yourself in a particular thing you're doing, so people will know that this is what he's known for? A lot of people jump into trends and they don't even make it from those trends.
Yes, that's true. But what I'm just saying is the trend that I'm talking about is not the trend of okay, I just see that this thing is making wave now. Let me jump on it. I mean, to as in have a short record of yourself, a funny clip, and post it out there. If people like it, that's just skit. Skit doesn't mean okay, you have to create. Just make some funny. Like we have the likes of this Woli Aruli. It doesn't really record a short movie. It will just be going around and be saying this and that, and if it's funny, people will watch it.
I like the fact that you mentioned short movies, because most skits now beginning to turn into short movies. So skits are supposed to be short, but then you see skits of 20-something minutes, 30 minutes, and I'm wondering if a lot of persons may take time to watch that, but is it really ideal to have that for long compared to skits?
If you have your skit, if you make your skit long, people might not be interested in watching it. Let it be short and let it be interesting. That's when people will, oh wow, I love this guy. He passes message in just a flip off.
Okay. Let's talk about you now. Right now, you're more of the stand-up comedy guy. If I am to call it that way. And I know you have a show coming up. What's it like? What should we expect?
Yes, this coming Sunday. Sunday, October 9, I'm having my stand-up comedy show coming up at Equefem Multipurpose Hall. Okay. And I have a host of other comedians that will be joining me on that day.
Yes, so, I can see star-studded.
Yeah, indeed, star-studded. Ali Baba is there.
Yes. Ali, that's the special guest of that day. Ali Baba, Benga Dinka, Clean the Drunk, Gordons, Kenny Black, Lepashos Bosse, Bash, The Cash, and many host of others that will be joining me.
So, why did you name it the Not Too Young to Run edition?
That's another angle to comedy that I'm introducing that day, because I see that many of us will just put together a comedy show. We want people to come and laugh. So coming that day, you're not just coming to laugh, you're coming to be impacted, because that Not Too Young to Run, I mean, it's not it. Many people they thought, not too young to run. Are you trying to say you are contesting for it? But I said no. I'm trying to awaken the spirit of exploit in people, that you are not too young to do anything good.
Okay, so it's not necessarily about politics.
Yes, no, it's not about politics. It's just just to encourage people and to enlighten them that you are not at any stage in life. You are not too young. To start from, because any time you wake, that's your own morning. So just pick it up from there and brazen up and at least move on from where you are.
Okay,
that's why I target not too young to run.
The question then will be, what will make this show different from other shows? We've had people complain over time that comedy shows are the same. You have comedians line up and do their thing, then you have a bit of music, musicians coming up to do their thing as well. What will make your own comedy show distinct from others?
That's why I said it's not going to be just a comedy show. Okay. It's going to be an impactful section, because they're going, by God's grace, comedians that are coming, I even tell them, okay, it's not too young. Whatever advice you can, or whatever message you can pass through.
So a bit of motivation.
Yes, to motivate people and to tell them, okay, let's just because this country now, apart from just laughing, when you laugh, then you have a take home. You have something that that, I think I learned this from that comedy show.
Okay, that's great. What's the price? We didn't talk about.
Yeah, we have regular ticket for 5,000. Okay. And we have VIP for 50,000. Okay. We have a table of 6 for 300 and table of 5. I mean table of 10. For 500,000.
Okay. And the time? The venue time?
The time, the red carpet will start by 3 p.m. and the main show will start by 4. We'll start the pre-show by 4, then the main show will start by 5.
Will that be prompt or African time?
No, no African time.
Okay.
That's why I want to make provision for all those young artists that want to at least showcase their talent too.
Okay.
We'll give them like an hour to just do their thing before we start the main show.
Okay, so main show by 5, pre-show by 4, red carpet by 3, and the venue?
Eco FM Hall at Latif Jakonde Road.
Eco FM Hall, Latif Jakonde Road Academy. But that's
October 9th?
October
Sunday,
9th.
October
Sunday.
9th.
This coming. If you say October 9th, it'll be like saying next week. And this Sunday.
A few days to come.
Yeah.
3 days from
3
now.
days to go.
3 days to go. So, quickly, if you were not a comedian, what would you have been?
I think I'm practicing that now. Because aside from just comedy and all, I like to be, and I'm practicing it now because I've been a think tank for like 3-4 companies now. I love to be a think tank.
So,
consultant. Okay.
I won't call it consultant because even where consulting, where it ends, that's when think tank
starts.
Yeah.
Okay, think tank. All right. I think I'm just hearing that for probably the first time today.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to do the career challenge. As a think tank, you have, how do I even start something? You want to help me out?
It should give us an idea on how to,
make money.
Exactly. That's a very
we
good
need
thing.
currently, by the end, for instance, my company, I run a multinational company that needs a minimum of, by the end of the month, end of 30, like October, I need approximately 200 million naira minimum, and I'm looking, I have all it takes. The staff are ready. Sometimes the staff to me get tired, which is normal, but I need some ideas, great ideas on how to make money by the end of the month. So I have what it takes, don't forget. My company has all it takes, don't forget. So what would you say? How would you think, or what would you tell me as a CEO or my staff if you are to have a training session with them?
Okay, like you said, you have all it takes.
Or we think we have all it takes. Let's use the word we think.
Because if you, like, as a think tank person, if you have all it takes to at least produce that cash that is needed to pay your staff, to fill some bills, I think you have to put all it takes to work so that it will work for you.
So the thing is, we think, sometimes people
I said,
think they have all it takes.
You have to, but when you say you think you have all it takes, that means you don't have any. If you have all it takes, you have to put what you have to work so you can have the right result. Like now, as a company, presently, as a company, you can't do one thing to survive in Nigeria. You have to have someone. Like myself now, I don't think what I have in my bank account or what I have as a comedian can put up a show.
Okay.
I do a lot. Apart from, I'm into children entertainment, I do sound, I do light, all this lighting for event. So I have to invest into all those things so that that's why I can give even client my price. What's your charges? Okay, I can do 800, I can do 1.5. Then the client will I check your Instagram. Don't be deceived by the Instagram. Even if I have 52,000 followers and you're expecting me to have maybe like 10 million, I don't have 10 million. But now I have the client that was okay because I know what this guy can do. Okay, come for our show. So now, if I don't have other streams of income, that means I'll be stranded. Now, if you have what it takes as a company, you can have some other things and you do something in line with what you are doing.
Okay.
If you're into production and you want to dive into another thing that is not production, you know that would drain you too. So if you want to produce, keep producing, and if your machine can produce some other things that you think, so that will put you'll still be in line.
In a nutshell, I like, it feels like you're not saying something, but you're actually saying a lot, because in a nutshell, what he's saying is you make use of what you have. So if you think, some persons think they have what it takes, which means they don't even have anything. But some persons have all it takes, but they're not making good use of what it is. And my take home from this is sometimes we think we have what it takes when we don't even have anything. But we should look inward.
That's an example of some of the Nigerian musicians. They come into the studio with nothing, and they will say, "Bros, I get song." As they are doing that thing and nothing. If you ask, if government now tell those artists in Nigeria, if you have foul language in your song, or if you have this so thing in your song, even on the street or anywhere, your song will not fly. You see that many of our musicians, they will go back to their drawing board and they will give us good music. They are trying. Nigeria is just that we use promo, a lot of promotion. A big thank you to iBrandTV and other media houses that have been promoting all these artists. You want to play their music, you want to, if not for that, some of the music you ask, what is this one singing? We have some talented musicians that are still indoor, but because of, you know, some of those that are into, in quote, that are into fraud, they see money to promote themselves, to be there, and they want to. But if you see some gifted, talented in Nigeria, they are still behind the scene.
And
so
that's true.
if you want to really bring out that thing in them, you know that we have some people that say we have what it takes, and they don't have anything.
Right.
And we have some that say, what will I do with my, they have that gift.
Well, thank you so much. You are
Thank you very much.
indeed a think tank. Now I believe when you say you're a think tank. Well, we've had an amazing time with MC 90'S while in the studio. Also, we had an amazing time on the show from talking about with the Kemisola, the amazing Uber driver, who is a mother, a wife, doing amazing things out there to doctor. We talked about Dr. Kani. We talked about symptoms of uterine fibroid, causes and treatment, and also to MC 90'S, educating us on his journey through comedy about himself, and also his show coming up, and a couple of other things, words of wisdom you can sap out from him. It's been an amazing show, you must say, or you can say, and that's where we'll leave you with a quote from Nicole Kidman. And this quote says, life has got all those twists and turns. You've got to hold on tight and off you go. Life has got twists and turns. You have to hold on tight, and when you hold on tight, off you go. And that's it on the show this morning. Do well to have an amazing day. My name is Margaret Opera.
And I'm Samson Oledi. Do have a great day.
Bye for now.